what's up? I got you. Got you, man. R.I.P. Grammy. Free my brother. It's free till it's backwards.
Can't hear you.
We're here at the Maui Invitational. We're on the road here at RSG, here in Las Vegas, and we got a special guest with us today, president of Red Insurance Group, Maurice Red. Welcome, Maurice. How you doing, man?
Good afternoon, good morning, whatever time it is out there in Vegas. But thank you for having me on here. So good to be a part of the show.
Well, man, we like the little engine that could, and it's really good to have people that are willing to work with us and partners as we've been going up. We've been kind of building this thing over time, and those longtime listeners know that Maurice has even come on and provided perspective as part of the RSG. He's part of that longer part of the Wu Tang that we talk about. We have all kinds of affiliates as part of this Wu Tang of radio journey, but he's just been I think really what's important about what I like to really share with our audience is that these amazing people who have been trying to build careers, former student athletes who are doing some incredible things. So when the NCAA says you go pro other than the sport, it is true. And so Maurice, I'd like to just before we get into like really what your company's doing, because I think it's really doing some important things. As an educator myself, to have a company that's really trying to focus on our well-being, what's happening with us from insurance standpoint, I think is really important part of it. But just talk a little bit about your journey. You were student athlete, working your way through life, trying to find how did you start out? How did you get to where you are today, running this company?
Well, that is definitely a longer version of how that kind of happened, but I'll kind of give the cliff notes, I guess you will, for a little bit right now. But as you mentioned, yeah, so definitely I think having the background as an athlete and small school, but definitely that has influenced me in sports and in my life in a big way in terms of that just competition, that work ethic, that drive to want to succeed. I think definitely gives you a foundation to go off of anything you want to do in your life. So those fundamentals of sports, I think, of playing sports throughout my childhood, growing up in college, definitely gave me a good foundation to move forward with. And my journey is it's been I say a liberal arts education journey. So we talk about from the Lloyd College days that we definitely have many interests and many desires and things that attracted me through my life. And I had background in education. I worked in nonprofits for a long time as well. Spent about 10 years of my life after graduating Beloit in Chicago, living in the city, and then moving back home here to Rockford here in the last 10 years or so has definitely been a blessing for me to be able to pursue some entrepreneurial pursuits as well. And we've kind of worked together with some projects as well. And the biggest thing I think for me is just the education piece has really been a driving factor, and I've used that to get into the insurance financial field with the goal and desire to educate people. I just feel like one of those things we're missing in our society, in our life, is that lack of financial education is kind of a key area that is not discussed enough in our culture today. And that's kind of what I've kind of carved out a little niche. Hopefully, that's providing a service and that's provides some education for people in a way to help them kind of make better decisions in their life on a few areas that could help them and impact their lives.
Now you had a little trial opportunity too. Then you after college, big, defensive back, kick returner. You had a little trial, didn't you? How did that go?
Yeah, back in those days, before we had all the social media and all those kind of things, I was in the backyard of the Packers, so so they did come and give me opportunity to go up there to Lambeau and to do a tryout there. It was a great experience back in the day. back then the Packers were doing pretty well, and they were coming off Super Bowl with Favre and those guys, and I had a great experience. I mean, I had just a day up there with some workouts and tryouts and everything like that, and I saw some people like Mark Chmura, people like that walking around, and you know, uh, back then, Reggie McKenzie was one of the assistants of the team up there. So great player, and he went on to be personnel. I think for the Raiders. I think at some point he was the leaders of their kind of GM or something like that. So. Yeah, it was. I was from a small school, so they were pretty loaded at that time. So it didn't work out how I wanted to, but it was a great experience, and I had some opportunities to at least experience that and on the next level up, and even had a few opportunities to look at some arena football and things of that nature. Ultimately, that wasn't kind of my path, but definitely, like I said, I enjoyed every minute of it and had a great time as well.
So now you find yourself, with Red Insurance Group. One of your major products that you really work with is with Mimic, and it's really focused on education. Can you talk a little bit about the focus of the company and the product and the work in this intersection that's allowed you to really try to work in this education space?
Yeah, so I'm an independent agent with the Red Insurance Group, but one of my major companies that I represent is called Mimic, and really it was founded and built for educators and anyone who works in the educational space. So it could be from preschool to higher education, as long as you are employed by an educational facility or institution, you are eligible for our services. And it's really kind of a great company that has a mission-driven kind of focus. And as I said before, my background is education as well. And I was an education major in college and spent some time in the classroom and was a dean of students at a charter school. Um, and I think it just really just believes in the fact that the educators I think in the same capacity in my mind as kind of a public service employee. And so you think about policemen and firemen and people like that as well, that we feel educators are in that kind of same capacity, and that educators also have actually earned and proven over time that they deserve to get some discounts on their rates, because it's actually proven out to the numbers that people in the education field get into less accidents, have less tickets, file less claims, things of that nature. And so they actually do deserve to have some discounted rates on their insurance services.
So I mean, I've really enjoyed partnering. One of the things I think is really unique about the product that you have is that even for teachers providing grants for folks in education, as there are usually you pay your premium and you keep going, but really investing and leading into educators and providing them with resources. The number of teachers, particularly between the pre-K through through 12th grade, who pay so much, they don't get paid enough, but then because of their spirit, they're breaking money out of their pockets to get supplies, to do things, to be creative. And can you talk a little bit about the grant program that you've offered for folks in the classroom and help to support them as well?
Yeah, definitely. And this is one of the things that really again stands out for this company and what they do, and that again, Mimic once again started in 1950. Excuse me. So it's actually been around for a really long time, and um, about 25 years ago, the company started a foundation to give back to the educational community. And just as you were mentioning before, that we realize and understand that a lot of teachers out there are, taking money out of their own pocket to support their classrooms, whether it be for supplies for themselves or for the students and things of that nature. So the Mimic Foundation started out and has been giving money back to the classrooms and the schools to help support our educational community. And right now, we give out grants. You have 16 opportunities throughout the year to get grants, and we really kind of grants is kind of a loose word. It's kind of more just kind of an enter the win. So kind of more lottery style. We don't want to make more work for educators at this time to have to kind of fill out long applications. A lot of times, it's just kind of you enter the win. You can nominate yourself or nominate your school to receive these grants. And we have a lot of great educational partners. So we work with like Scholastic Books and Lakeshore Learning and some some STEM and tech companies as well in the educational space, to do programmable, robots and all types of things in between there to kind of help do some cool things for the educational community. Yeah, so basically every month there's an opportunity for kind of our monthly grants, and then we do a quarterly grant. So again, there's every month and then every quarter, so 16 opportunities throughout the year that you're going to have to do things. And usually we do some bigger things out there as well. So we've done like classroom makeovers, we've done like school staff room lounge makeovers. Um, so we've done some really kind of bigger things out there as well to kind of really give some bigger investments into actually building up, rebuilding or improving. A lot of times we have the staff lounges. Some of those things for some schools are, a little bit dated, maybe going back to the 1980s and 70s decor in some of these places. And so we realized that, yeah, that sometimes some infrastructure investments are important for the teachers to kind of have a place where they actually can relax a little bit in between classes or go there for lunch and breaks and those kind of things as well. So yeah, we really kind of look at the whole piece there. And again, we do this because we don't really advertise. We don't spend money on discount double checks and stuff like that to pay the
Shots
big
fired.
name athletes out there. So so we give it right back to the community, and we don't raise our rates or anything like that, so to help pay for those kind of advertising dollars.
I love it. I love it. Look, one you and I have talked a lot about, and in our own journey. I mean, one of the things that you really said well here early on is that there are communities where these conversations around money don't just happen at the dinner table, and that's where the social capital equity gap exists. It exists in spaces you don't think about, because people who come from more affluent backgrounds, it's almost like osmosis. They're in spaces where it happens. They're hosting dinner parties, and they're sitting around with folks who are talking about things, or they have an opportunity to go in places or do outside activities growing up, and so they don't even think about it. It's just a way of living and knowing, where people are openly talking about these things because they're always being prepared to take over the resources. And so that's part of it. Parents see it as their responsibility. Grandparents see it as a responsibility because these are heir to the throne in some ways. And we don't see that across it. And where it plays out a lot is in sports. Some of those inequities. We have a number, NCAA would talk about the number of first generation college students who are there, and students who come in who are Pell Grant eligible, who are, student athletes. And athletics has always been that avenue. In some ways, people is to be a part of addressing the poverty gap, and it's a way for people to have access and then do it. So now we see this real athletic empowerment, led by athlete empowerment movement. It's historic, but there's an economic twist that's coming. I think LeBron James and others have really uh, done some unique things in the way that they're thinking about business. They're thinking about money. In WNBA, you have a player who is also an owner. You start to see a sophistication happening. Now we have name, image, and likeness, and so one of the things I know in RSG we're going to begin to look more in is, how we can play a role in helping to support and prepare these young athletes as they enter this world. But when you're sitting here thinking about, these athletes and the way that they can leverage, from your perspective, what are some of the things that you're hoping that athletes will start to do in terms of beginning to, leverage and gain and, advance through an economic empowerment lens?
Yeah, this is just very fascinating and I think very interesting how this is all playing out right now. I think it's a great evolution in terms of how our society and just how the sports landscape is moving forward to a point where I think back when we were in college, this is one of those things that people never thought was going to happen. And we kind of seen throughout the years. We kind of have the lawsuits from the O'Bannons and people like that, and kind of things kind of moving forward. And now to kind of have this kind of field just kind of broken wide open, kind of this field being disrupted is, I think, really just amazing right now. And just really kind of is a shift that we're going to look back, 25 years from now, it's going to be like, wow, this is like started the whole dam breaking down and really kind of opened the borders up, if you will. I think that it is, so critically important, I think, because, for many, many reasons, but in terms of, my kind of, where I'm at right now is financially speaking, is that just to having the opportunities that are out there for people to think about. And as you said, many of us, in the sports field are definitely coming from, lower income areas, and just to have those opportunities for students and student athletes to be able to start their financial journey, if you will, in a sense. College obviously can be an expensive endeavor for a lot of students, and a lot of people think about just people are student athletes or maybe getting scholarships, so they're kind of getting something. But we both know that there's a lot more expenses beyond just the tuition and those kind of things, and they still got to pay for their room and board and other kind of expenses that are part of the college experience. So for students, athletes to be able to get advantage of this, and maybe defer, deflect, or maybe even pay for some of their kind of just original college expenses while they're going through college, I think is really important. And then obviously if they can even get some bigger deals where maybe they're actually can create their kind of financial stability and early on in life, I think it's huge that they can be able to get an opportunity to take advantage of this. And like I said, there's people having different kind of backgrounds are having these sort of conversations, much earlier in life. And I think that, one thing that I always see is that, we have realized that, time is such a precious commodity. We don't, we only have one life to live. So if we're kind of spending our, our teens and 20s, kind of, living and learning and making mistakes and kind of trying to, figure out, the lay of the landscape and how the game is run. And by, we're kind of losing time that we could be, building up our financial, nest egg and security blankets and those kind of things. And having those things in place earlier in life just means that, you're going to be in a better place as you move forward. So, I think financial, stability is, just so important. And, money is not everything, of course, but, obviously it is something, and it's an important part of our society and our culture. And, if those who don't have it, you understand as you get older that, if you could have done some things differently in your earlier life, how that could impact and kind of just move you forward in a different place for your family and for future generations. That those things are just tremendous abilities, and just to be able to earn and create income is an amazing thing.
Yeah, you're talking to my accountant, and they're talking about, you got to have it work for you three different ways, and you got to be able to have money that's, working for you, every day it's working for you. You got to have money that, that you can see that's impacting some of your monthly operational expenses, and then you got to have the money that allows for you to invest in ways, and so, one of the things he talked about is having enough that if you use your age, twice your age. So if you're 35, and $70,000 that you have available to you to invest. And so these are things that, if these young players are thinking about this at 18 years old, doing some of the things, I've seen you talk to young people, what if you put a little bit away at 18, what would it look like when you retire? It's an amazing amount. Um, if you just put it and don't do anything with it. And so, where how do you how what are ways that you can think about, even I wonder, thinking about how even athletic programs are setting up consultation around this. That's one of the things I've been wondering. I know people are trying to get up to speed about it, but what are some of the recommendations you would make for athletic programs who are trying to help these young folks?
Yeah, I would just say that I think that just the having that financial educational piece to start as soon as possible. And yeah, one of the things that I've talked with younger students about is just the idea that, yeah, if you could, uh, just start saving 10% of what you're making. If you're working at just even while you're in college, you're working at a pizza place or a local restaurant or wherever you're working at, just kind of starting that process off as soon as possible, and just realizing that if you can, like we always talk about as you get older, is living, within your means. But especially if you're younger, you can start that process off even sooner. Like that kind of compounding effect is so huge and so life changing, if you will, as you get older. So starting that process off as soon as possible is important. I think just financial educational things. And I think about, when my first credit card was at spring break in college, and just like, making the silly decisions like that, for a t-shirt or something like that. And how that kind of leads to down a slippery slope for college students who make bad decisions in a lot of cases, and just like just being aware of those kind of things and understanding that kind of can put you in a bad space and kind of can go from there in a lot of ways. So yeah, there are small decisions you can make when you're in that kind of age range that can help you or hurt you, basically, put it that way. So some decisions you're making in your life, whether it be in any kind of capacity, you're going to make some decisions and make mistakes as you're younger, but hopefully you can start just having that knowledge and that awareness of how can you make a few more decisions that are going to be better for you in the short term that can help you out in the long term at that age. And I just think it'd just be important to kind of just do more things like that to have people who like ourselves, a little bit older, maybe come and talk to students in that age range, have people share stories. Again, I think it's just more just understanding and learning. Like in the sports kind of realm, we talk about you have to have experience to become better as an athlete, right? You got to play in different areas, you got to play different competition. I think the same kind of thing is we got to have more conversations about financial things so that we can kind of become more accustomed and learn more from other people's experiences and realize that we're not alone out there. And that a lot of times we think, well, my situation is so unique or similar or dissimilar to everybody else, but really, there's, we all have different situations, but I think a lot of us have a lot of more similarities than we think about. And I think as I go through my life and just talk to people more and more, they always kind of say like, I wish I would have done this differently when I was in my 20s or when I was in college and those kind of things. And I think a lot of people, if they just kind of heard more stories and realize that what they're dealing with is not as unique as they might think it is, they can learn some things that can help them in the future.
You're on the road with RSG at the Maui Invitational. We're here with Maurice Red, president of Red Insurance Group. They are our segment sponsor for our opening segments here on the trip, and it's just good to have my guy Maurice with us here this morning to share a little bit about their company and his journey. Before we close, one of the things I want to talk about and kind of mention to this, people may not know that you're a referee, and kind of you've been refereeing for a while, and now more recently, as part of an effort outreach, you are beginning to be able to do some games with the Big Ten, which is a big move. And I think was it last year they had the first full group. I don't know if that was in a playoff or whatever, all African American crew. And you just think about the history and the makeup of the game. A lot of times when I'm talking to athletes, in young athletes to say, hey, if you can't make a game, there's a lot of different ways you can be part of the game. And people rarely think about refereeing. Actually, a community center I'm working with, they actually have a program where they're exposing folks to refereeing young people into different fields from volleyball to baseball to whatever, and getting them to understand that this is something you can do while you're in college. You can make money doing this in your career. So they're exposing to them at like 14, 15 years old, which I think is an amazing program. Shout out to Goodman Community Center, Madison, Wisconsin. I give y'all that love. I'm a board man. I got to let them know they're doing good work.
Yeah.
But talk about this, man. This is like something that people don't talk about a lot. But what has it been like to be on that journey and now be in replay play booth and be at games? Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with your comments about, I think all athletes, and whether you're in sports, I guess you don't have to be an athlete, but if you kind of have a love for sports, that I think officiating and getting involved in the game is definitely a great way to kind of stay involved. I've been involved for over a dozen years now, all levels, kind of working my way up in terms of being official. And, I've done football and basketball and baseball, all sports that I played in high school, and just some way to kind of stay around the game and kind of stay in shape and those types of things as well. But also kind of get a great kind of a perspective to see kind of the athletes that are coming up right now as well. So it's definitely the best seat in the house for a lot of great athletes and a lot of great opportunities as well. And yeah, very fortunate that I had an opportunity to kind of move up a little bit through the ranks and a program that was through the Big Ten, and to get more diversity into the ranks of officiating. And I think that I definitely commend them for being aware and trying to be proactive in those types of things. And yeah, the replay booth is an avenue that was opened up to me, and I was got an opportunity to do a lot of trainings, and definitely over COVID times here, especially, that realizing that there are a lot of older officials, and as you guys see even from the high school ranks, locally, there's definitely a great kind of gap in terms of the ages now. So I think the average official age is like 55 years old right now,
Mm.
and obviously the athletes nowadays are getting better and better. So we need to have an influx of some younger people to kind of be around to be around for these athletes and for the future of the game, and then also to have some diversity as well. I think it's important too to have the representation as part of that as well. But yeah, so I mean, the replay booth was something that I had not really looked into very much, but then, like I said, the opportunity came about, and got a chance to be doing a lot of trainings, and Dean Blandino's a name that people have heard about probably a lot, who kind of runs kind of the NCAA kind of replay officials and does all the training for all of us. And yeah, so some opportunities now to kind of go and be a part of some Big Ten games, and to be an assistant communicator is the term we use right now. So think about it's kind of hard to explain, but just think about how you kind of hear the game being called in the broadcast booth. There's kind of people who are actually part of the officiating crew up in the booth as well, kind of looking at the game, and we're kind of going through play by play and describing the action and kind of looking at potential things. Right now the kind of helmet to helmet safety is a big thing right now. Targeting is a big emphasis in the NCAA as well. So we're looking at every single play that's going on for the calls. We have the replay booth. There are kind of reviews going on, turnovers, scoring plays, close plays. We're doing that in real live action. And it's been very interesting to kind of learn about this process and being part of the game in a different way. And I've been really excited about it, and hopefully that more opportunities are coming forward.
Well, man, I love the journey and your story, and I'm glad that we're able to share it with our audience. And we have some teachers out there who are trying to figure some things out. Hopefully, reach out to Mimic. They're not everywhere nationally right now, but I know they're very high level in the Midwest. But check them out, or just reach out to Red Insurance. In general, there's other ways they can help. But thank you for being a partner, with us in RSG, and being on this run with us, as we're covering the Maui Invitational. With looking forward to, we got Wisconsin against St. Mary's in the championship here later today, and it's going to be it's going to be a barn burner. Both those teams are playing well; they're hot as well, and so it's just been great to be out here in Vegas, and with the support of Red Insurance Group. So thank you, brother. We appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. Congratulations to you and building up the brand here. I kind of an RSG original OG back in the day.
That's
so
right.
I was involved back in the original kind of capacities, and it's kind of congratulations to you for continuing with the dream and moving forward. And we just saw some videos the other day about some of the stuff happening. We did some stuff back in the original. Back up in Madison, so now you're kind of moving out to Vegas and Maui and every place else. So congratulations to you. We definitely support
All-Star weekend. We coming NBA All-Star. We got
we still coming. That's right. Yeah,
we done. That's been the vision. You might see that Red Insurance Group thing way up there. You're gonna see Mind Match. You're gonna see Bowman Medical Group. It's gonna be a posse rolling up in there. We not through yet. Wrinkle in us, but we gonna put it all together. But yeah, man, you've been with us for a while, and it's good to have you doing it with us in this capacity.
It's awesome, man. It's a good thing. So that's what it's all about. Continue moving forward, and everybody uplift themselves, and keep on moving forward.
All right. Well, all y'all out there, keep it moving forward. Like he said, we'll see y'all on the other side.
All right. Ready for the day the Lord called on me. The my decisions, man, they all on me. I can't do this way from Hey, yo, Neil. Hey, what's up? I got you. Got you, man. R.P. Grammy. Free my brother.